Hey guys, welcome to another one of our reviews. I'm the Worm, and this is the Proton. Today we're going to be doing a review of a mod that we did receive free of charge. Will not affect our review in any way, shape or form.
No way.
We got this from VapeGear.
.co.uk.
VapeGear.co.uk, so thank you very much Keef and Kirsty for sending that along.
Mainly Kirsty.
Always mainly Kirsty. Sorry Keef, but...
Hello.
We are back.
We are back. We are back with the VapeGear. Can I go into it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What we're doing today is a review of the Sigelei 20, which is there. We have done a close-up for you guys, so we will go to that in a minute. We'll go through a bit of the nitty-gritty and then probably a big explanation on the other side of it, followed by a monumental flap as well. So the price of this was $32.99 on VapeGear.co.uk. We'll go into the was after the close-up. Obviously prompt delivery and stuff as per normal with VapeGear, and this is, on the top of this is an upgraded head. This is a version 2 head, sent us for a version 1 head, which was what was being sold at the time, and then this was about over a month ago now, well over a month ago, and stuff and things have ensued to cause delays in the review, and also the item to be removed off of VapeGear as well. They are still available from other vendors. Which ones? I'm sure you can find if you look hard enough if you really want one, but we'll go into the nitty gritty. I think we'll throw it down, we'll show you a proper close up of it quickly, and then we'll come back up to us, go through a little bit more of it and an explanation as well. So yeah, we'll do that now. Right guys, this is up close of the Sigelei 20. This is the upgraded head we're talking about. We'll go a little bit more into that to start with, but obviously it's a telescopic mod guys, as you can see. Finish is very Sigelei 19 Keef Light style of finish, a brushed stainless steel. Telescopic 350, 500, 650. You can kick it as long as it's not a 650 you're trying to do it with. It hasn't quite got that length on it. It is very, very small when it's in 350, even in comparison to like the 19, the KTS and such. That's it next to a 30ml bottle, and as you can see it is quite a bit smaller than a 30ml when in 350, and to be honest with you, in 350 it still feels like it could go smaller. The battery only just about makes contact with a few batteries that I've tried it with. We'll take it apart very quickly just so you can have a look at its parts. Threading, lovely and smooth, not had any issues with this threading whatsoever. Okay. That's your head. It's a one single unit, we'll go into that in a second. In your base you've got what feels like a hot spring. I haven't tested it, I'm not willing to test it, but I'd imagine that is a hot spring. And you've got your vent hole just there. The rest of it, to be honest with you, is pretty standard stuff. You've got two tubes that telescope into each other, screw into each other. They are quite nice. They're not silly thick, but they're not super thin either. There is very little play in the body, to be honest, even in sort of 650, which would usually be here. You haven't got anything else inside this, and there's a little, but once you've got a battery on, there's no play in that body whatsoever. I'll go into the head. This is the upgraded head. Okay, so this has got some advantages over the old one. I do actually have the old one in bits, and I can show you kind of what that was like. But advantage number one with this is it's flush, okay, and you've got air channels cut into it, which you didn't have in the old head. The second advantage is the locking mechanism on this one. It's a much nicer locking mechanism. You just twist it, give it a little spin, and you're firing. Twist it again, and you're now locked off. It's not going anywhere. And as crucial as the fact that this is now flush at the top, they've stuck an adjustable centre pin in it. So yeah, I'm loving that. I'm loving this, because the niggles that I had with the Sigelei 20 head, the first version 1.1, apart from the fact that it burnt me, was that I couldn't flush mount, and that I had no adjustable centre pin, which was quite annoying in comparison to the old head. I do still have the old head, but it has been taken to pieces after it melted basically in the internals, and the spring that was in there providing the positive on the connection once the switch was made basically dissolved on me. I may actually still have the spring in here. I do. It would look like a copper spring. There's two springs there. It would look like a copper spring, but this basically got so hot that it glue red hot through the body, and it's now all oxidised, and there's just no tension left in that whatsoever. I did attempt, and I'm going to say attempt loosely, to take this apart after getting frustrated with it, to see if I could rectify it, and just getting it apart was such a pain. I ended up breaking, oh, no, sorry, I didn't have breaking, sorry, but the dowel now, I couldn't get that out in order to pop the bottom dowel out. I know that people have success with taking these apart, but I am not one of those people. So we arranged a new head, and we're very pleased that it's an upgraded one, because the device, I think, looks much better for it. It hasn't got the bronze at the top, or the sort of bronzish at the top, and the buttons matches the body. So that is the Sigelei 20 with the upgraded head, guys. If you buy them now, or sort of any time after this video, they should all be coming with this head. So this is the one you'll get, which I believe is better looking anyway. You have got a black band around here. This top section of the head is removable. I have removed it, as is the centre pin. I haven't completely taken this head apart purely because I'm not entirely sure how this works, and I don't want to risk breaking it. To be honest with you, mainly because we had a review to do on it, but also I quite enjoy the looks of this mod and I don't want to ruin that. So one day when I get brave, I might take it apart to see how it all works, but for today, and today being the day, that's what it is. No ego threading, guys, but on a mech you're very unlikely to be running EVODs and T3s and CE4s, but if you wanted to, you can't, because there is no ego threading. That is the 20 close-up. It's more just to give you a look at the device and let you know what it looks like. The top is chromed as opposed to brushed, all stainless, which isn't bad, because when you set the device on it flush, it does give you a little line. I would have rather it matched, if I'm honest with you, but it is what it is. So there you go, guys, that is the 20.
Right guys, welcome back up. That was the SIG 20, up close and personal.
Indeed, did the best to show you some of the close-up bits there. Not gonna lie, we done that a couple of days ago, a little close-up, because I had the camera down there. Completely forgot what I showed you, but we'll go through some of the good points and some of the sort of nitty-gritty details with you anyway. Obviously, as you've seen the close-up, hopefully, if I showed you, you've got a nice spring in the bottom there. I'm not sure if it's a hot spring or not. I'm not willing to test it, to be honest with you, but I'll imagine coming from Sigelei it will be, and it does. It kind of looks like. Almost copper, yeah. So I think you've got a hot spring in the bottom there, a nice brass contact at the top. I didn't take it apart in the close-up purely because it's just a lot of pain in the bum. It's not as much as the first one, but getting it back together, I have better hands. But you can basically, I popped the top of this head, completely unscrewed it, completely pulled out the centre pin. This head looks like it's going to be a lot easier to disassemble than the version 1 head. We'll go into the version 1 head now, I suppose, then we'll go into the SIG in general, and then we'll go into the version 2 head. Version 1 head, now you had the insert in the version 1 head at the top, which you could unscrew using a 2-pence piece or something, which is now actually the 510 connection that's in our little close-up board. But you couldn't take the thing apart easily, you couldn't flush mount on it, and the locking mechanism was just kind of a push and a twist of the button, and it never...
Not good.
It never secured it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I never had it fire on me in the case or anything, but it never felt like it was adequate. Whereas with this one, you do twist it and it is locked. There's nothing that's going to set that off. What happened with the version 1, and there was problems with the version 1 head, which is why basically as soon as we received the SIG, I'm guessing Keef and Kirsty become aware of it straight away and removed it from the site.
Yeah, because literally the day we got it, we went onto the site and it was not there. Nowhere to be seen.
Indeed. So yeah, the problem with version 1 head is the way it's connected by a post and a spring from the top of the positive of the battery all the way up to the bottom of the connection in the 510. One day, literally the day that we was actually going to do the review of it, I was at work using it. Had been using it for about a week.
About that, yeah.
And I was using it mainly for my AGR cargo tank. I had it with a Sigelei kick in there, set to 10 watts, and I'm kind of pushing it. I noticed I was getting a little bit of a hot button, and in the version 1 head there's 2 holes in it. I'm guessing either for tinkering or for adjustment, or I don't really know, to be honest with you, but either which way you could see through the holes, and the spring was lighting up red hot like it was a coil, which wasn't good. So I saw that, and as I saw that, it got incredibly hot. I had to drop the mod. I then picked it up again after about 10 seconds to try and get the battery out of it. Undid the bottom of it. The battery and the spring that was in the base of the mod actually burnt. So yeah, it wasn't fantastic. And yeah, the battery vented, which obviously was really not good.
We then later that day tried to replace the spring in it just to see if we can get it working for a review, and to get the dowering out the top of the head. Impossible, I tell you. I mean, I know it can be done, but for the tools we had here, it just wasn't happening. Well, Mr. Brown resorted to a hammer to try and get it out.
I got it apart. It was not going back together though.
No.
So yeah, from that point, I mean, as soon as the issue cropped up, we emailed Keef and Kirsty, explaining what had happened, and they said, okay, we'll sort it out. Do you know what I mean? So that review went on hold. We sourced a new head because we kind of said, don't worry about it, we'll sort it out. And I saw a version 2 head, and I thought I actually quite like the look of that head, which is this one now, because you can flash mount on it and all that kind of stuff. I thought, oh well, do you know what I mean? I was at another site purchasing a couple of little bits and bobs anyway, and I thought, why not? I'll chuck it on just because when Keef and Kirsty send one through, if it's a version 1, I'd like to run it with a version 2 afterward anyway. So yeah, that got us to that point. Now, the version 2 head.
We did show this in the close-up, the actual where it activates. If you get to a certain...
No, I didn't.
You did?
Did I?
Yes. We did show the activation of this if the button and top are connected, so...
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, we've got the version 2 head. The day that we got the version 2 head, I know Keef and Kirsty had also got all the version 2s in, because I'm guessing they plan to put it back on the site as the version 2 and sell that on. The day that got the version 2 head through, was immediately informed by the vendor of the problem. I had a little chat of the head with the vendor about the head, explained what the problem was to me, which is, as well as just said, but we'll show it. You connect button and you connect the top part above the black section. I hope you can see that there.
You can see the vapour coming out.
There you go, vapour coming out there. It's activating. Now obviously that's not good, it's arcing between the two. Which, to be honest with you, it is just it's not good. And I'm finding this out. I'm not guessing. We spoke to Keef and Kirsty. They then found this out and didn't even bother putting the version 2s on the site, which is why you can no longer buy them from VapeGear. And I think they've just gone, fuck it, we're not going to bother with them. Too many issues. And it's just not worth the hassle. So as soon as there was a problem, they came off the site and they've not gone back on because there is still problems with the device, which for VapeGear I think is a good thing.
Yeah, they're looking out for your safety more than anything else. They would rather look out for the people that are going to be return sellers than having you buy something once, blow up your hand and never come back.
Well, yeah, indeed. I mean, blowing up your hand tends to not be something that makes you come back to a site, but in general it's just that they are very hot on mods with faults and stuff of VapeGear, so we do love them for that. Personally, and I said this to the vendor of the head, and I also said to Keef and Kirsty as well, that problem doesn't bother me, mainly because I can prevent that from happening. I mean, with the version 1 head, it was unpreventable. You was using it and all of a sudden that spring got hot and that was it, you was in trouble. There was a problem with the button with the version 1. I don't know exactly what the problem was, but there was a problem with the button, and I'm guessing basically as I've activated the button, it's locked it on, or something along those lines, and that's just caused it to consistently fire, and obviously where it was shorting out through that spring led to a shortened event. So yeah, it wasn't good, but that is what it is. The version 2 head, if you have got one of these, or if you're looking at getting one of these, and I know that there are still sites out there selling this, so either they're unaware of the problem or they do not care about the problem, so be aware guys, if you buy a version 1 or a version 2, they both have problems in the head. The way I combat it is this: if I'm using it in 8500 at the minute, obviously it's telescoping mod, just undo it. I'll put it in the case like that. It can't make a connection if the battery can't touch top and bottom. It's as simple as that. If you're using an 18650, you'd have to take the battery out. It's an inconvenience, yes, and if you are going to buy one of these, personally, you shouldn't really, I don't think, on our recommendation, because there are a lot of mods for this.
Unless you're a very experienced user and you know the problems and you know that you're going to be willing to combat these every single time you put this away safely, it's not a mod for any, like, the general population out there.
Even if you're an experienced user, though, you shouldn't be spending money for something that is faulty, basically,
or flawed.
Yeah, so like I say, either the vendors of these devices that are still selling it don't know that it's faulty, which is unlikely, or
just
don't care. So make it aware, guys, if you're buying a SIG20, no matter what version it is, it's got problems, unless it's a version 2 or a version 3 head, in which case they may have combated this problem. I know they are working on this problem, but I also know that Keef and Kirsty have gone, no, you can have them, we ain't interested in your faulty products, which is good. It is good, looking out for you and themselves obviously as well, making sure that they're not pushing out crap products, which is
also going to help their reputation in the long run. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've done a few reviews for VapeGear and Keef and Kirsty now, and we've always said that they're good people up there. So yeah, definitely good stuff. We have got we will do the standard review of this because I do like it. We will do a standard review based on sort of our looks and our 5-point hit list, so we'll run through that. Yeah, we'll do that now. So do you want to go first?
Looks.
We'll do it with the version 2 head, guys.
Yeah, with the one we've got now working. It looks good. It really does. I mean, it's not overly my preference, but I still do think it's a good looking mod. I think if I was going to buy another mechanical at this sort of price range, it'll probably be the one I'd buy. I mean, I know the problems with it, and I'd be quite happy to deal with them as Mr. Proton is. But that's me personally. So, but yeah, looks is good. It's a really good looking one. I'll say 9.
Looks for me. I'm gonna give it a 10. Actually, with this version, with the version 1 head, I wasn't a big fan. You had a bit of you had a brass, not brass, you had a copper centre pin or a copper plated at least, and you had sort of a brass or copper button. It looked good, but it wasn't as good as this. So I'm gonna give it a 10 for looks. I do like that black band that's running around the top, and it's all kind of a brushed silver or stainless, and it blends with the Keef really well. It blends with the RSST really well. It is a 23mm mod, but the top is chamfered by about 0.5 mm to 3/4 mm all the way around, so it's a very fractional lip. I doubt you'll make it out, but it is there, but it does blend really well. So yeah, for looks for me, 10.
I don't even know what the next one is.
Usability.
Completely lost. Usability on this thing. You stick a battery in, make sure it's charged, and unscrew the fire button, fire the device. It's not hard to use. All mechanicals are 10s, they just are. You put in a battery, make sure it's charged, away you go.
Yeah, Worms hit it on the head with any kind of mod, whether it be mechanical or chipset variable voltage. All you've got to do is maintain a battery really and put it in. I mean, yes, this one has got its flaws and we've told you about those, but as a mod it's a 10. With the flaws it's obviously different, but as a mod it's a 10, it just is.
Maintenance. There is nothing to really maintain. Maybe washing the contacts at the top and the bottom once every month, depending on how much you use it. Maybe every couple of weeks if you're solely predominantly using that device. But even then, it's not overly much. And then obviously maintaining the battery life. Again, 10.
Yeah. I mean, it's just cleaning it basically. And like I said, you can pop the top off. You can pull the centre pin out, which is something the version 1 didn't have. The version 1 did not have an adjustable centre pin, so you can flush mount on this, and it has got air channels obviously as well, which is obviously a big thumbs up. But yeah, maintenance, it's just cleaning it, and this is even easier than the version 1 was. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 10 for maintenance. What more can you sort of maintain with it?
Build quality. I'm going to throw in the first one for this because we obviously did have this. Build quality of the first one, poor. It just was. It blew up in Mr. Proton's hand. Not good at all. Not what you want from a mod. 0. Second one, with the new head on it, it's not so bad. It's still only hitting about a 7 because the head does arc, and that is a problem when the battery's in there. When the version 3 comes out and it works properly, it'll probably be a 10.
Build quality as a mantelpiece ornament, 10 of the version 1 and version 2. The build quality, I want to go. The machining and stuff is very good. It is very good. But everything, the screw threadings are lovely. What more can you ask for? Just over 30 quid. But we've got to throw the version 1 out of the window completely. Don't waste your time. The version 2, it is better, and the build quality of the head is better in general. But it has that, and it is a big problem. To be honest with you, I know people might go, well, what's the chance you get something metal across there and there? Okay, chances are there aren't loads, but if you are someone who runs around with your pocket keys, if you put it in an ego case, this mod, if that mod lay across, I don't know about
anybody else, but I have several little screwdrivers that I always keep in my pouch.
Indeed, I have one at least. But yeah, even if you've got it next to it, even if all you have is mod, another battery, and an ATI. The ATI, something like the RSST, if that was to lay across there in a mod pouch, yeah, that would be a problem, and you have to unscrew it. It's going to get us a 10 if it had no issues, but other than that, it's got the issues. So yeah,
it's what it is.
Build quality is a 10. The testing procedure from Sigelei is a none. There you go. That's kind of my view on it. Overall, for the Minge.
Shall we throw out all of them? Version 1, overall, 3. It didn't look too bad, but it was completely flawed that it blew up in your hand. Version 2 head on it, 9. I do quite like the mod. It's, there is a slim chance of it happening, of that arcing, but there is a chance, and you've got to be aware of that. As long as you take the precautions, it's fine. But it does look really good, so 9.
For me, overall, version 1, I mean, to be honest with you, I toyed with buying the version 1 over the Sigelei 19, and this is actually smaller than the 198350 mode. It is a very dinky little thing. I really like it. I mean, the version 1 would get an 8 for me. These are working mods, alright? The version 2 is a 10 for me, without that problem. It still is. The version 2, I'm not gonna lie, the version 2 is still a 10 for me. It is. But we are not recommending this in any way, shape or form. If you see a vendor selling this, mail them and question them. Say, are you aware of the problems with the head? If they say yes, in our opinion, steer clear of that vendor forever. Alright, if they're aware of the problems and they're selling a device, then that shows that they're more interested in making their money off of a device they've already bought, so they can't bother to send it back to Sigelei, than it does about potentially your safety. And in turn, that's a ridiculous kind of philosophy to have if they're aware of these problems, because it blows up in your hand, you're going to them, and you'd have an email saying that they were aware of it to make them culpable. So yeah, just make them aware of it if they aren't already. They should be, though, if they're doing what they should be doing. So yeah, it is what it is. It's a mixed bag, because I really like this mod. I do. It performs quite well under load. I did do some testing. It's about a 0.3 drop under a 1.5 ohm load from a full battery, so 4.2 to sort of 3.78, I think it was, which isn't bad at all. But we can't recommend this. Alright, hopefully they come up with a version 3 that looks like this and they've just sorted out that problem there. We're guessing it's a bit of insulation around the switch that's causing this arcing, but it is what it is. I mean, that's another thing to take into consideration, that one day maybe if you dropped this and it landed on that switch, physically maybe no damage, may still work, but it might only take a mil in or a mil sideways in order for this to be making constant contact, in which case you've got an even worse problem than you did with a version 1. So yeah, it's one of those ones, guys, unfortunately. Obviously, we will have VapeGear up here, because they're the guys who sent it down to us, Keef and Kirsty, and we basically was speaking to Kirsty last night, actually. Got a nice little message off her. Hello. And
stop flirting.
I can't help it. And yeah, basically, she said sort of, don't worry about the review, and we feel obligated to. Yeah, not necessarily obligated, but we feel kind of that we should do a review of a product we've received through, especially if we haven't paid for it. I mean, we like to do reviews of everything, but if we haven't paid for it, we do feel like there is a need for it to be done on our point of view. Even if they're not carrying the product anymore, it's just kind of, it gives you a little bit more of insight about VapeGear as well. Obviously, they're not prepared to carry a product, and as soon as they realised, I don't actually think they even listed this product, the version 2, before they found out about the problem, and it was then basically immediately in a box, and you can bugger off back to Sigelei, which I like that kind of. Yeah, I'm not even going to inform people that we had it, because there's no point. So yeah, I do like that. And it was uber disappointing for me, because literally I was so excited. I was saying to them for ages, oh, I'm going to get the head and I really want to use this mod because I think it's going to look awesome stuff. And then I had to wait for it to be in stock, ordered it arrived, and I'm not joking, I put it on, sent one with a picture going, look at that fucking thing. And then half an hour later I got a message saying there's a problem with that head. I was like, no! So yeah, epic foul. This has been the 20 review, guys. We're almost finished. Just want to say a big thank you to Keef and Kirsty VapeGear, obviously, as per always.
And
lots
always,
of kisses.
Mainly Kirsty.
Of course. And we've actually got a few more things coming from Kirsty. Actually, tomorrow, hopefully. So
we'll have them
wicked.
Next week sometime.
Yeah, next week sometime they'll be up. We've got a nice new product. Well, actually, 2 nice new products to play around with. And we didn't even know about one until yesterday, really. And the other one we knew about. They're like, yeah, we'll send you one. Woof! Sweet. So we've got those coming, so obviously we'll review those in normal fashion, guys, and we'll post them as and when they are ready. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much, Kirsty. I've been Mr. Proton. This has been The Worm. See you soon.